some of our key features for the year. It's been an exceptional year, mostly as a consequence of particularly the first 6 months of the financial year through to December. At the time, gold price was still really high. I think north of and in the region of about R1,000,000 a kilo, which gold mining, the universe, is just, it's the sort of thing that you never dreamt you would actually witness. But we were very well positioned to take full advantage of this. Production was really good. And we had our costs under control, managed to keep our staff safe. They made their contribution in terms of keeping themselves safe, in terms of COVID protocols, etc., etc. So all of this translated in what we have on this slide for you in terms of the highlights for the revenue up 26% to north of 5.2 billion rand. Operating profit was up nicely, 39% to about 2.1 billion rand. Production just shy of 5 3/4 of a ton, or tons rather, 6% rise in production. And this was from both sides. We saw exceptional volume throughput from both of our circuits, and also some really good plant performance indicators as well. Our teams really managed to keep their plant stable and operating well. This translated in an all-sustaining cost margin of just under 32%. Gold price was, as I said, very good to us in the financial year. We saw a 19% increase in the average gold price received in the previous year, north of 900,000 rand a kilo. Headline earnings, 127% increase on the back of both performance and the higher gold price. This enabled us to, for the 14th year in a row, elaborate more on what percentage that was and what yield it is, and how we compare to the rest. But this has always been, for us as a company, a very important indicator of where we are. Are we making money? And some of that finding its way to our shareholders. So happy to say that for 14 years in a row, we've been able to do that. Paid a lot of tax, as you might imagine, with the sort of profits that we managed to generate. So 452 million rand went into income tax, and then also employees tax, pay as you earn, 223. So revenue services and shareholders in terms of funds distributed, more or less on an equal footing for the year, with north of 600 million in respect of both. Now, with Women's Month, we're obviously also proud to report on some of the numbers that we've managed to achieve in this regard. We have 23% women in our total staff, which is about double what the average in the mining industry. 38% of the members of our board are female, and we're very thankful, firstly, and also really proud of the women in our staff contingent, personnel and staff. And we set ourselves the target of not only supporting their success and celebrating their success, but creating an inclusive environment where all staff members are both physically and psychologically safe or emotionally safe. We really want to make sure that there are nothing inhibiting women in our environment, in our company, nothing in the way of reaching their full potential, making the contribution that they do. So focus in our company on socioeconomic development has always been key. Sustainable development for many years now has been an important theme in our strategic focus. And this year was no different. 50% increase on socioeconomic spend. And doesn't come as a surprise. South Africa is in dire straits, like many parts of the world, as a consequence of COVID and the lockdowns and the impact that that's had on the economy. We operate mostly in areas where a lot of the communities around us are per-day communities, where they have a per-day economy, where somebody is a guard, or he's a gardener, or they do recycling of sorts. And with these lockdowns, that per-day economy suffered very, very significantly. A lot of people didn't have the ability to go out and work. And when they did, the opportunity was simply just lost because the people that they used to do this for just no longer around, were no longer able to offer that kind of employment. So in those sort of situations, in those conditions, it's not surprising that there would be an increase in socioeconomic spend. Of course, our focus does remain sustainable development, sustainable communities, but it was an extraordinary year. So there was a bigger element, and I'll elaborate on that when we get to the ESG. And then, of course, our company, our operations, it's a gold producer in the middle of a city. It didn't go to the city came to the mine, but that notwithstanding, the fact is that there are lots of people living around our operations, and we don't want them to suffer discomfort or ill health as a consequence of our presence. So we do a lot to suppress dust, and we closely monitor what the impact is of dust in terms of all of the measurements. And there's several hundred every year that are taken from just under 90 different sites across our entire belt. Might be a little bit more. The exceedances were limited. I think we've broken the back on dust emission. Now it's a case of just tying it up towards the natural end of this program.